The moon hung low and red, casting shadows that moved on their own. Elena pressed her back against the cold brick wall, her breath coming in short, panicked bursts. Through the shattered window, she could hear them, the shuffling feet, the guttural moans, the scraping of fingernails against wood. Her younger brother clutched her hand so tightly it hurt, his wide eyes reflecting the crimson glow above. "They're coming," he whispered. She wanted to tell him everything would be okay, but when she looked down at the bite mark on her own arm, still bleeding, still burning, the words died in her throat. The infection was spreading. She could feel it crawling through her veins like ice and fire combined. In 6 hours, maybe less, she wouldn't be Elena anymore. She'd be one of them. But tonight, under this cursed blood moon, she had one job left: keep her brother alive no matter what it cost her. Before we continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us what dark story you want to hear next. Your support keeps these tales alive. The stairwell reeked of decay and something else, something sweet and putrid that made Elena's stomach turn. Blood smeared the walls in handprints that led downward, toward the lobby where the screaming had stopped hours ago. Tommy's fingers dug into her jacket as they descended, step by careful step, avoiding the bodies that lay crumpled on the landing. Mrs. Chen from 4B was among them. Her floral nightgown was torn, exposing gray flesh beneath. Her eyes were open, milky white, and staring at nothing. Elena tried to step over her quietly, but Tommy's shoe caught on the woman's arm. The body twitched. Elena's heart stopped. Mrs. Chen's head turned with a wet, grinding sound. Her jaw hung loose, broken, but her teeth were still intact, still sharp. A low moan bubbled from her ruined throat as she began to move, her twisted fingers scraping against the concrete as she dragged herself toward them. "Run," Elena whispered. Then louder, "Run!" They bolted down the remaining stairs, Tommy's sneakers slapping against the steps as more sounds erupted around them. Doors that had been silent suddenly burst open. Figures stumbled into the hallway. Neighbors, friends, people Elena had smiled at just yesterday. Now their skin was the color of spoiled meat, their movements jerky and wrong, like puppets controlled by a drunk god. Mr. Harrison from 2A lurched toward them, his business suit soaked in black blood. Half his face was missing, torn away to reveal the bone underneath, but he was still moving, still reaching. Elena shoved Tommy toward the emergency exit as Harrison's fingers brushed her shoulder. She spun and kicked hard, her boot connecting with his knee. The joint bent backward with a sickening crack, and he collapsed. But others were already filling the hallway behind him. They crashed through the exit door into the night. The blood moon painted everything in shades of red and black, turning their neighborhood into something out of a nightmare. Cars sat abandoned in the middle of the street, doors hanging open, engines still running. Bodies lay scattered on the pavement, some torn apart, others beginning to stir with that horrible twitching movement. Elena's arm throbbed. The bite was on fire now, the pain spreading up toward her shoulder like someone was pouring acid under her skin. She could feel something moving in there, something alive, rewriting her from the inside out. When she glanced down, dark veins had spread from the wound, branching across her forearm like black lightning. "Elena, your arm." Tommy's voice was small, terrified. "It's nothing. Just a scratch." The lie tasted bitter. She pulled her sleeve down, hiding the evidence. "We need to keep moving. The church, remember? Dad said if anything bad happened, meet at the church." Their father had been on duty when it started. He was a cop working the night shift downtown. That was 12 hours ago. Elena hadn't heard from him since his last text. "Stay inside. Lock everything. I love you both." She chose to believe he was alive, waiting for them. The alternative was too dark to consider. They moved through the shadows, staying close to the buildings. The streets were a war zone. Blood pooled in the gutters, reflecting the red moon like scattered rubies. Somewhere in the distance, gunshots echoed, followed by screams that cut off abruptly. The undead were everywhere, stumbling through the darkness. drawn to any sound, any movement, any living thing. Elena's senses were changing. She could smell everything now. The copper tang of blood, the rot of dead flesh, and underneath it all something warm and sweet that made her mouth water. Tommy's scent, his living, beating, blood-pumping scent. She shook her head violently, trying to clear the thought, but it lingered like poison. "Elena?" Tommy tugged her sleeve. "Are you okay? You're shaking." "I'm fine," she lied again, but her hands were trembling, and cold sweat dripped down her spine. Her vision was starting to blur at the edges, colors bleeding together. She blinked hard, forcing herself to focus. 6 hours, maybe less. She had to get Tommy somewhere safe before. A shape lunged from between 2 parked cars. Elena barely had time to register it. A woman in a torn waitress uniform, her throat ripped open, intestines trailing behind her like grotesque ropes, before it was on her. Dead hands grabbed her jacket, pulling her close. The thing's breath was rot and death, her snapping jaws inches from Elena's face. Elena screamed and shoved hard, sending the creature stumbling backward. But more were coming, drawn by the noise. Shadows peeled away from alleyways and doorways, dozens of them, their moans rising in a chorus of hunger. "This way!" Elena grabbed Tommy's hand and ran. They sprinted down the middle of the street, weaving between abandoned cars. Behind them, the horde followed, their shuffling feet creating a sound like waves on a beach, steady, relentless, inevitable. A convenience store appeared on the corner, its windows shattered but its interior dark. Elena didn't think, just acted. She pulled Tommy inside, their shoes crunching on broken glass. The smell hit her immediately, blood and fear, thick enough to choke on. But beneath that, something else, something living. They weren't alone. A flashlight beam cut through the darkness, blinding her. "Don't move," a man's voice commanded. "Take one more step, and I'll blow your head off." Elena raised her hand slowly, positioning herself between the light and Tommy. Her arm was screaming now, the infection spreading with every heartbeat. Through the pain and the growing fog in her mind, she could hear the horde outside, getting closer, their moans echoing off the buildings. They were trapped, and Elena could feel herself slipping away, the darkness inside her growing stronger, hungrier. She looked at Tommy's terrified face and wondered how much longer she could protect him from the monsters outside, or from the monster she was becoming. The flashlight lowered slightly, revealing 3 faces behind it. 2 men and a woman, all of them armed. The older man held a shotgun, his finger tight on the trigger. His eyes were hard, calculating, scanning Elena and Tommy with the cold assessment of someone who'd learned to trust no one. "You bit?" he asked, his voice flat. Elena's heart hammered. Her arm burned beneath her sleeve, the infection spreading like wildfire through her veins. "No," she said, keeping her voice steady. "We're clean. Just trying to survive like everyone else." The woman stepped forward, her pistol aimed at Elena's chest. She was maybe 30, with short blonde hair matted with blood. Whether hers or someone else's, Elena couldn't tell. "Show us your arms. Both of you. Now." Tommy lifted his arms immediately, his sleeves falling back to reveal unmarked skin. Elena hesitated, her mind racing. If she showed them, they'd shoot her. Leave Tommy alone with these strangers. But if she didn't... "I said now." The woman cocked the pistol. Elena slowly began to roll up her right sleeve, the unbitten arm. The woman wasn't satisfied. "Both arms. Don't make me ask again." Outside, the moans grew louder. Shadows pressed against the broken windows, hands reaching through, grasping at nothing. The dead were surrounding the building, drawn by the voices inside. They had minutes, maybe less. "We don't have time for this," the younger man said nervously. He couldn't have been more than 20, his face slick with sweat. "They're coming in. We need to secure the back door." "Shut up, Marcus," the older man snapped. Then to Elena, "The arm. Last chance." Elena's vision swam. The fluorescent lights overhead were too bright, too harsh, making her head pound. She could smell them all now, their fear, their sweat, their blood pumping just beneath their skin. Her mouth filled with saliva, and she swallowed hard, fighting the urge that screamed through every nerve. "Please," Tommy whispered beside her. "We just need shelter, just for tonight." The woman's expression didn't change. David checked them both. If either one's bit, we put them down. David, the older man, stepped forward, his shotgun still aimed at Elena's head. He grabbed her left arm roughly, yanking up the sleeve. The bite was revealed in all its horror, black veins spider-webbed from the wound, pulsing with something dark and alive. The flesh around the bite had turned gray, dead tissue spreading like cancer. "She's infected," David said coldly, stepping back. The woman's finger tightened on the trigger. "Then she dies, can't risk it." "No!" Tommy threw himself in front of Elena, his small body shaking but defiant. "You can't kill her. She's my sister. She's all I have left." "Kid, move," the woman said. But there was something in her voice now, a crack in the armor. "She's already gone. Look at her arm. In a few hours, she'll be one of them. Would she want you to see that?" Elena felt tears burning in her eyes, but not from sadness, from rage, from hunger. The infection was spreading to her brain now. She could feel it, twisting her thoughts, making her see Tommy not as her brother, but as food, as meat. She could hear his heartbeat, fast and terrified, pumping warm blood through delicate veins. She shook her head violently, biting down on her tongue until she tasted copper. "Tommy, move," she said through gritted teeth. "Let them do what they need to do." "No." Tommy's voice broke. "I won't let them." A crash from the back of the store cut through the tension. They all spun as the rear door exploded inward, 3 corpses spilling through, their bodies twisted and broken but still moving. The young man, Marcus, screamed and fired his pistol wildly, bullets sparking off the walls. One of the dead collapsed, its skull shattered, but the others kept coming. David swung his shotgun around and fired. The blast was deafening in the enclosed space, and the second corpse's chest exploded, black blood spraying across the shelves. But more were pushing through the door now, a tide of rotting flesh and grasping hands. "Fall back!" David shouted. "To the storage room!" They ran, Elena pulling Tommy with her. Behind them, the dead poured in like water through a broken dam. The group crashed through a door marked "Employees Only" into a small storage area filled with boxes and metal shelving. David slammed the door and shoved a shelf against it. Immediately, fists began pounding on the other side, the wood already splintering. "There's no other exit," Marcus said, his voice rising toward panic. "We're trapped. We're dead. We're—" "Shut up and help me," David barked, pushing more boxes against the door. The woman turned to Elena, her gun raised again. "You brought them here. Your noise, your smell, whatever it is, you led them straight to us." "That's not—" Elena started. But then she realized the woman might be right. The infected could smell her, recognize her as one of their own, but not quite. Something in between, something that confused them, enraged them. The door was buckling, hinges screaming. The pounding grew more frantic, more violent. Wood cracked, splinters flew. "There," Tommy pointed to a ventilation grate near the ceiling. "We can fit through that." David looked up, then at the door, calculating. "Fine. Kid first, then—" "Not her," the woman interrupted, pointing at Elena. "She stays. She's infected. I'm not letting that thing crawl through vents with us." Elena's vision went red, not from anger, but from the infection. It was taking over now, her humanity slipping away like sand through fingers. She could feel her teeth sharpening, her nails darkening, her thoughts simplifying into one primal urge: feed. She looked at Tommy, memorizing his face. Her baby brother, the only good thing left in this nightmare world. She had promised their mother, years ago when cancer took her, that she'd always protect him, always keep him safe, even from herself. "Go," Elena said, her voice rough, barely human. "Tommy, go with them." "Elena, no." "Go!" She screamed it this time, and something in her voice made them all freeze. It wasn't human anymore. It was the sound of something dead, something hungry. The door exploded inward. The dead poured through like a flood, and Elena, Feeling the last of her humanity slipping away made her choice. She turned toward the horde, toward the gnashing teeth and grasping hands, and threw herself into them. "Run!" she screamed at Tommy one last time. Then the dead consumed her, dragging her down into the mass of rotting bodies. She fought, not to escape, but to keep them occupied, to give Tommy time. The last thing she heard before the darkness took her was Tommy screaming her name. Pain. That was all Elena knew for a long time. Pain and hunger and the overwhelming urge to tear, to bite, to feed. She was drowning in it, pulled under by a tide of darkness that had no end. But somewhere, deep in that darkness, a small light still flickered. Tommy's voice crying her name. The memory of his face, terrified and alone. Her promise, her oath. Elena clawed her way back to consciousness, fighting through the fog of infection. When her eyes opened, she was lying in a pool of black blood. Bodies surrounded her, the dead she'd fought, now truly dead, their skulls crushed and limbs torn. Had she done that? The blood coating her hands and mouth suggested she had. The storage room was empty. They'd escaped through the vent. Good. That was good. Tommy was safe. But for how long? Elena dragged herself to her feet. Her body felt wrong, stronger but also alien, like she was wearing someone else's skin. Her reflection in a broken mirror showed the truth. Gray skin stretched tight over her bones, black veins covering every inch of exposed flesh, eyes that glowed with a faint red light reflecting the blood moon outside. She was one of them now, or almost. Something in her was still fighting, still holding on to the last shreds of who she'd been. But that couldn't last. Soon, very soon, she'd lose that fight. And when she did, she'd hunt. She'd kill. She'd become the monster that had taken everything from her. Elena stumbled out of the store into the night. The streets were quieter now, the horde having moved on to hunt elsewhere. Only a few stragglers remained, shambling aimlessly between the cars. They ignored her. To them, she was invisible. One of them. She knew where Tommy would go. The church on the hill where their father had told them to meet. If he was still alive, that's where he'd be. And if not, Tommy would wait there hoping, praying. Elena started walking. Every step was agony. Her body wanted to hunt, to feed, to give in completely to the infection. But she forced herself forward, using the last of her willpower to maintain control. She had one last thing to do, one final act of humanity before the darkness claimed her completely. The hill seemed impossibly steep. By the time she reached the church, the sky was beginning to lighten, the blood moon fading as dawn approached. The church doors were barricaded, but she could hear voices inside. Survivors. Living, breathing, warm-blooded survivors that made her mouth water and her hands shake. She pounded on the door. "Tommy!" Her voice was a rasp, barely human. "Tommy, it's me." Silence. Then footsteps approaching cautiously. "Elena?" Tommy's voice muffled by the door. "Yeah, kiddo, it's me. Open up." "Elena, your voice sounds... Are you okay?" She wasn't. She was dying, or worse, becoming something that should be dead. But she lied anyway. "I'm fine, just tired. Please let me in. It's almost dawn and there are still things out here." More footsteps, adult voices arguing. Then David's voice, harder than steel. "She's infected. I saw the bite. She's not coming in here." "She's my sister," Tommy screamed, and Elena heard him struggling with someone, trying to reach the door. "Tommy, listen to me." Elena pressed her palm against the wood, wishing she could touch him one more time. "David's right. I'm infected. I'm changing, but I'm still me. Right now, in this moment, I'm still your sister. Then come inside. We'll find a cure. There is no cure, Tommy." Her voice broke. "You know that. Everyone knows that. But I need you to do something for me, okay? I need you to survive. Live through this. Find Dad. Be safe. Be happy. Can you do that? Not without you. You have to." Tears ran down her gray cheeks, the last tears she'd ever cry. "I need you to promise me. promise you'll survive." A long silence. Then, in the smallest voice, "I promise. Good boy. I love you, Tommy. Always remember that. No matter what happens, no matter what I become, I love you. I love you too." Elena stepped back from the door. The sun was rising now, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Beautiful. She'd forgotten how beautiful the world could be. The infection was almost complete. She could feel it in her bones, in her blood, in the very core of who she was. Minutes left, maybe less, before the last of Elena disappeared forever. She turned away from the church and walked toward the edge of the hill. Below, the city spread out, a maze of death and horror. The living dead roamed the streets in countless numbers, and somewhere among them she would soon join their ranks. But not here. Not where Tommy might see. Not where she might hurt him. Elena found a small shed at the back of the church property. Inside, among the gardening tools and old furniture, she found a chain. She wrapped it around her waist, securing herself to a support beam. When the transformation finished, when the hunger became too much, the chain would hold. She wouldn't be able to hunt, wouldn't be able to hurt anyone. She'd rot here, alone in the darkness, until either starvation destroyed her or someone found her and put her down. It wasn't a good death, but it was better than the alternative. As the sun rose higher, Elena felt the last of her humanity slip away. The pain faded, replaced by a cold, endless hunger. Her thoughts simplified, became primal, focused only on one thing: blood. She lunged against the chain, snarling and snapping, but it held. Through the fog of her new existence, one final thought flickered. Tommy is safe. I kept my promise. Then that thought too disappeared and Elena was gone. Only the monster remained, chained in the darkness, forever hungry, forever waiting. The blood moon had risen and set, and with it, the last hours of her humanity had died. But somewhere in the church, Tommy lived, and that in the end was enough. The blood moon has set, but its curse remains. Elena made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing to chain herself away rather than risk becoming the monster that would hunt her own brother. In those final moments, she proved that love can survive even the darkest transformation, that humanity isn't defined by the body we inhabit, but by the choices we make. Tommy survived that night, protected by a sister who loved him more than her own life. The infection took everything from Elena, her body, her mind, her future, but it couldn't take the one thing that mattered most: her promise, her love, her sacrifice. In the shed behind the church, the creature that was once Elena still strains against its chains, driven by an endless hunger it can never satisfy. But somewhere, buried deep in whatever remains of her consciousness, maybe there's still a flicker, a memory of a little boy she saved, a promise she kept. The dead walk among us, but sometimes, just sometimes, love proves stronger than death itself. Elena's story reminds us that even in our darkest hour, even when we're losing ourselves to forces beyond our control, we can still choose who we want to be. We can still choose to protect the ones we love, no matter the cost. The blood moon will rise again. The dead will continue their endless hunt. But Tommy lives, carrying his sister's memory, her sacrifice, her love. And in a world gone mad, that's the only thing that matters. Some monsters are created by bites and infections. Others are born from the choices we make when everything is falling apart. Elena became both, but in her final act, she proved which monster she truly was. Not the creature of rotting flesh and hunger, but the monster of fierce protective love that would sacrifice everything to keep one small light burning in the darkness. The night of the living dead took everything, but it couldn't take that. So what would you do? If you felt yourself changing, becoming something dangerous to everyone you love, would you have Elena's strength? Could you make that choice knowing what it would cost? These are the questions that haunt us long after the story ends. If this tale of horror, sacrifice, and dark love got under your skin, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We explore the darkest corners of fear and humanity, telling stories that challenge what it means to survive when everything is lost. Drop a comment below and tell us what story you want to hear next. Maybe you want more zombie horror, or perhaps you're craving something different. Ghosts, demons, psychological terror, or cosmic nightmares. Whatever darkness calls to you, let us know, and we'll bring it to life. And if Elena's story resonated with you, share it with someone who appreciates horror that doesn't just scare but makes you feel something real, something raw. Because the best horror isn't about the monsters outside, it's about the monsters we become and the choices we make when our humanity is on the line. Until next time, stay safe out there. The blood moon may be gone, but the darkness never truly leaves. It just waits for another night to rise. Thanks for watching.